discussion board. This may be an observation on the chapter, a question, or substantive response to someone else. This needs to be thoughtful, and he feels like it's kind of generic. He wants us to be have a little more meat into it, and each have our own post on there, I think.
So like we talk about whatever we're going to talk about in the meeting, and then someone posts it, and then we can comment on that? Or on somebody else's post?
Yeah, I think that's it. And then he definitely wants them recorded.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. So I had a question about the reading. It kind of has to do with the text, the quiz. I don't know if you'll know. The question had to do with the order. I don't remember the question exactly. It was on order sequencing or something like that.
I don't know. I actually haven't taken the quiz yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm a slacker when it comes to work.
No worries.
Oh, the sequencing, the ABDC, that?
No, not that one.
Yeah.
I think I understand that one. This one just had to do with it was the question about. I remember the answer now because like I kept getting it wrong.
Okay.
It was the order deals with
okay.
place.
The order effects and carryover effects, how they differ.
Yeah, that one. So I don't remember reading that in the textbook, and I couldn't find it.
For order effects, it is only the treatment that matters. I think that was the one I missed a couple times too.
Yeah.
So it's about the order effects and carryover effects and how they differ. And I did look for that one a couple times too, and I wasn't able to find it.
So I'm remembering now. Last week, that quiz had a question from the previous week, and I thought that was weird. So maybe this is something that was covered last week. It's just a thought.
Okay. Let me see. Order effects. Okay. So order effects, that is right. No. So order effects, as far as what I have for my outline, the notation I made was a sequencing affects the arising from the order in which the treatment conditions are administered to the participant. And then carryover effects is the sequencing effect that occurs when performance is one treatment condition affects performance of another treatment condition. All these just drive me crazy. I tell my husband I'm ready to slit my wrist. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The one is the sequencing effect arising from the order in which the treatment conditions are administered. And the other one is the sequencing effects that occurs when performance is one of the treatment conditions and affects the performance of another treatment condition.
Okay. I sort of am understanding that a little bit.
Do you know where I can find that in the textbook?
You know that might. Let me look.
Because as you read the explanation, it's making sense to me. I just would like to add that to my outline now.
Yeah. 1 second. I hate that it doesn't give it doesn't tell you what chapter you're in when you're looking through the text, so you're like, am I in chapter, when you're just trying to thumb through it, it doesn't tell you if you're in chapter 7 or chapter.
Chapter 7 starts on 199.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's under counterbalancing. Order effect. It's actually on 215, it has order effects and it gives the definition on the side.
Okay.
And then 215, it gives that definition on the side. Or 216, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, I
see
see. Carryover and
Yeah.
order effect. Okay.
So that's where I got that from.
Perfect. I don't know how I missed that. Thank you. Awesome. Were there any questions or observations that you two wanted to make? Questions, comments?
These literally, it feels like I'm going round and round on some of this stuff. It sounds like the words are repeating itself, and I'm getting all caught up in, it just seems like I'm talking about.
Yeah. Same here.
My husband he has a real analytical mind, so he gets all this. I don't. That's not me, but it is what it is.
I do have a question about the second set of annotated bibliographies. Is it we're supposed to be finding 5 different sources or 5 different articles and just doing the same thing that we did before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And using the comments.
Now, are they articles or are they studies?
Based upon what information is required for the bibliography, they would be studies.
Okay.
Okay, that's
Because
I wanna
like you
make
need
sure.
like
That's
a
what I've been doing.
sample. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. What are y'all doing yours on?
I've been focusing mine mainly on like the effects of listening to music on your memory. So like different types of genres, like whether like classical or like alternative. And then some article that I found, it talked about like just like random noise in the background, like during a lecture, if that would help you remember what you were learning during the lecture. They're actually pretty interesting, and they actually all show that the groups that had some form of noise or music in the background actually retain the information longer than the groups that didn't have anything playing. So I thought that was really interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You would think it would be a distraction instead of actual help. Interesting.
Yeah.
Matt, what are you doing yours on?
Mine is on the how your weight affects the physical exercise you do. For example, if you're average weight or overweight, like which group is more likely to participate in exercise activities?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. And mine's on child abuse and the effects, long-term effects it has on kids. I wanted to do it with a bent towards child advocacy, like do children do better when they have an advocate who works on their case while they're in foster care or going through the system. But the study's a little bit harder to find. So I did find one in the last setup of my last bibliography. So I'll see if I can keep it all going in that direction, or if I need to just stick with long-term effects of children who have been abused and put into a foster care system or they removed from a home, or just the effect on them long term.
That's interesting.
Let's see. Let me see what else there was on the outline that. kind of broke down matching techniques and random assignment and different kind of that counterbalancing. That one just like I said, it just kind of seemed like I was reading a lot of the same words and I was getting confused on it. I finally just had to, kind of look closer at what I was reading and trying to digest it a little bit more. But it's definitely a struggle for me to understand how that all plays together and what it means and what, the very little variation on each phrase or word, what it all means. So it's just how my brain doesn't work.
Yeah. This chapter has been a little more difficult than previous ones.
Which is scary because they're just going to get worse.
Yeah, slowly getting worse and making us want to all just die.
Yeah, we're only halfway through. It's like, oh my goodness, kill me now.
Yeah, I'm comparing it to the stuff that I have to read for another class, and I did homework last night where I read a page and I had to read it like 5 times before I could actually understand what this man was trying to say. And I had to do an outline for it, and my teacher's like, so you're not really going to be able to understand it, so just
do the best you can.
Just write what you think he's trying to teach you. And I'm sitting there reading, and I was like, I don't know what he's trying to teach me. I don't understand anything that is happening in this book right now. This is just completely ridiculous.
Yeah. Matt, are you understanding a little bit better?
Am I what?
Or is there any point? Are you understanding it a little bit better? Is there something you can help impart to us as far as like how to digest it?
Well, I mean, so this isn't my first theory class I've taken. It's my first. Well, it's not even my first statistical class. It's my first statistical theory class that I've taken.
That's the problem for me.
The what?
That's the problem for me, putting the two together. I got statistics somewhat. I got theory somewhat, but it's meshing the two together and making it make sense in my head.
Yeah, I don't know. I think so. Like the thing with statistics is it's math based, and the thing to remember with math is that it's logical. So kind of all these things that they'll be going through, they either make sense or they don't. Like some of these, I don't know. So like it's math. It's either right or it's wrong. And so what I've done is like I don't understand it the first time, and I just have to go through it a few times, just that repetition, and just like hopefully something sticks.
Yeah, I think that might be more of what I need to do is just keep reading it until it makes sense to me, and get it down a little bit better. Obviously from some of our statistics classes before, some of the, a lot of the terms are the same, but, it's actually cementing them in my brain where I read it and go, oh yeah, I know what that means.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, unfortunately, we're not the blessed people who are gifted with the talent to understand these.
Yeah,
we have to work harder to understand.
Yeah, for sure.
But then
that's okay because I understand people a little bit better. My husband has this down, but he's not really doesn't get people where I get people, but I don't get this kind of stuff. So we make a good meeting.
That's good.
Let's see. And did you understand that in the quiz, the ABD, what I'm talking about? The grouping?
Yeah, that sequence stuff.
The conditions. Now, those are just, I mean, they are what they are, right? Those don't change. Like the group is what the group is. If it has, like, the question was about if an experiment had 4 conditions and they were A, B, C, D.
Right.
And then each participant is to be measured under a certain condition, like how that setup is. And I remember, in the chapter, it also talks about. So I think that's what that's on page 219 where it talks about the sequencing and how that plays in.
Right.
Okay, so that's just pretty straightforward. That doesn't change, like, for that type of.
Yeah, and this one threw me off at first. Just that question, the sequencing question, because I was like, because I saw the textbook and it was like, okay, it's a sequence, but then what I forgot was that there's the complete sequence and the incomplete sequence, and the complete sequence will run through those 4 scenarios: A, B, C, D, B, C, D, A, D, A, B, C, all in order, that way.
Right.
The incomplete one doesn't run through all of those in order. That's why the D and the C were switched.
Right.
And that's what
Right.
made it incomplete.
Okay, that makes sense.
I don't think I understand how far that rule goes, but that's what I understood.
Okay, so it says the first criterion that incomplete counterbalancing must meet is that the sequence enumerated for each treatment condition must appear an equal number of times in each ordinary position. Also, each treatment condition must precede and be followed by every other condition an equal number of times. Yeah, like counterbalancing was it was a little hard to understand. I did have to read that one a couple of times to get it down. And then I hope I got it right. I'll get to use our book. Let's see what else they talked about that I struggled with. And I'm finding the PowerPoint's helpful as well.
Yeah, they help me a lot.
Yeah. On mine, I have to go a little bit farther and put a little bit more explanation in it, or I'm definitely not going to get it. So to just look at the PowerPoint, it's helpful because it helps me highlight and understand which ones are really important. But I definitely have to put more verbiage in there so that I understand what they're, how it works together. Now, this chapter talked a lot about the matching and when doing control techniques in the experimental research process. I had quite a bit of notes on that. How'd everyone do on the exam?
The first exam?
Yeah.
I did actually a lot better than I thought I was gonna do.
Did you? Good for you.
Yeah,
I
think if I remember correctly, think it was a B. I think.
Nice.
Which actually was really surprising because I was planning on that I wasn't going to do that good. I'm a terrible test taker, so I always just assume that I'm going to fail no matter how much I've studied. I just assume I'm going to fail. So then it's always like a really nice surprise and shock when I've actually, done something.
Yeah.
I know y'all, Matt, you and Taylor had time to go back over your answers. I'm just like, there's not enough time. Like, you barely per question.
Yeah, I ended with like 10 minutes left, and I was just like, there's not enough time. Like, I was like trying to like watch the clock as I'm like trying to figure out answers, and I'm just like, this is not going to end well for me.
No, it didn't for me. Because then I'm like, I have 5 minutes and I still have, like 15 questions to do. Here we go. Just start clicking it. You read through them quick and just click whatever looks close. Or whatever you can kind of remember, because there's no way to look it all up again. So, I wish they did give a little bit more time than what's allotted.
Yeah, I wish we had the 2 hours. Because, like,
Yes.
my other exams are all, well, the computer exams, mine are 2 hours. And it's really nice to be able to have that 2 hours, then you have just that little extra cushion there at the end to go back over them. Especially
if, like we were saying, this doesn't come easy to you and you don't get it the first time around, and it, like I just struggle with it. I just do. I don't get the terms. They all seem to sound the same after a while, and I just get confused and all frustrated, and then I don't do well. So.
Well, I do like that it is open book.
Yes.
Which really helps. And I like that he gave us, like, for the first exam, these general points to study. So I went through, like, when I was studying, and I marked in the book. I was like, all right, here's where this is supposed to be. This is where this is going to be. So that way I already had, like, little, like, sticky notes, like, okay, here's a question about this. Let me go to it so I can just read the definition again. And that actually really helped me.
I studied like 2 hours before I took the test. I mean, I did it horrible. I got like a D+. But I did a Word document, and I even put like the terms. I would write it out, and then I put in parentheses, found on page, whatever, just so that I could be like, oh, okay, go back to this page so I'd know where it was. And I still ran out of time. I still did well. And like I said, I studied, all week long. Then plus I studied 2 hours before I took it, and I just didn't do well. But hopefully it'll get easier.
There's always next time.
I'm glad we're halfway through this.
We are halfway through. We're almost done.
Yes, yay.
That's
good.
That's one
I'm so
thing.
ready to be home.
In taking the exam, that's one thing I changed. Since we're also allowed to use our outlines, I tried using the first one that I made, and I realized quickly that the outline that I had made that I thought was fantastic wasn't really that good. So that's one thing that I've done is I've started doing my outlines so that I can quickly, like, it's a correct summary, so that I can actually utilize it in the exam, that it has the information summarized and it's all the ideas are fully thought out. And that was a great resource.
It's always hard to find what needs to go in an outline. I found that with all of my classes that I have to do outlines, and it's just like what you feel is important. And so then you do it, and then what you feel is important is not going to be on the exam. And then you're just like, so basically what I just did was worthless.
It's not what the exam creator thought was important.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then some of the examples too, like I had a hard time, like I said, understanding. So I had a hard time applying it to an example. So then I'm like looking in the book, trying to find an example that's either the same or close to the same of what it is. I did like that the exam was broken down into, this is chapters, this is over chapter 3 or whatever. So you kind of like, oh, okay, this, I know I need to know this part for sure. And I can use this outline for this part.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about?
Hold on, guys. Someone's at my door.
Sure. The counterbalancing, like I have, it looks like good notes on it because, I kind of went through it and tried to make good notes on it, but I'm not sure that they're great notes on it. They still, to me, feel a little hard to even understand just because the terms are so similar.
What are we talking about?
Counterbalancing, and there's a whole section on that in our chapter.
Oh, okay.
And terms, group counterbalancing, complete counterbalancing, and new breed. Then incomplete counterbalancing, like we were talking about earlier. And then the whole carryover effect versus, I just lost it. Anyway, yeah, so those seemed a little bit, the terms were so alike, it's hard for me to get them in my head.
Yeah.
Any ideas on that one? I guess that's just something you just have to keep studying until you get it down in your head. Because it is, because some things apply in certain situations, but they don't apply in other situations, and it's just that little, not all possible sequences are used, or, different little things like that. It's like, oh man, okay. And I looked at the disadvantages too. I made sure that I made note of all those, like as I was going through the chapter, because it would give each thing like intra-subject counterbalancing, and then it would have what the disadvantage is. So I noticed that they did it on the PowerPoint. So then I try to do that for each section, because I figure if it's, it's probably something that's going to be important, that's going to show up on a test later, that I'm going to need, or an exam later, that I'm going to need to know. So I tried to at least put those on there so I would know, or maybe get it more clear in my mind what, maybe it would help me understand the concept a little bit more.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's all I have that I can think of.
Yeah, I don't have any questions.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm good too.
Okay.
So we'll plan on next week then?
We'll plan on next week, same time, same station.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
We could say who's gonna video it, but we'll probably forget anyway, so we'll just
Yeah, that's true.
I just wish there was an easier way to do it. I know when you go to the office hour, it has like where you can hit record. I don't know if that's an easier format or form than this is. Any ideas on that? Do you have any understanding on that, or it works better?
I've only played around with Adobe a little bit. I've never recorded in it. If it's makes it so we can record, it might be a little easier process.
You might want to go
my-
in there and look. It looks like you just click a button and hit record.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I
that
don't know.
It looks,
I've never used Adobe before.
yeah, if you just go into like Brother Boring's, his little Adobe Connect page, and it looks like you just hit record and do it. I don't know. Maybe I'll try to go in and just do a test record and see if it works.
okay.
Okay.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Have a great week. Good luck on those bibliographies.
You too.
You too.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.